गॉड। ये कोई विचार नहीं, ये कोई शिक्षा नहीं, पर विश्वास है।
What shall I do? Where shall I go?
कल की चिंता ना करना, क्योंकि कल का दिन अपनी चिंता आप करेगा।
Who will set me free? What is my future?
जो चीज वो बनाता है, जो कल्पनाएं उसने मेरे और आपके लिए करी है, वो सबसे उत्तम है।
I am lost.
मैं तुम्हारी भलाई करूंगा।
And failure is not an option.
Let God make your tomorrow.
विश्वास, केवल विश्वास कर।
Jesus is the hope. A new beginning.
Do not fear, but have faith.
God owns tomorrow.
हेलो एंड वेलकम टू गॉड ओन्स टुमारो। हमें मालूम है कि आप इन एपिसोड से बरकत पा रहे हैं, आशीषित हैं। आज हम खुश हैं, हमारे साथ सिडनी ऑस्ट्रेलिया से पास्टर विजय करन है। कैसे प्रभु यीशु मसीह ने इनको पाप के दलदल से निकाला और कैसे अपने खादिम होने के लिए मुकर्रर किया, आइए जाने। एंड लेट्स वेलकम द मैन ऑफ गॉड, पास्टर विजय करन। गॉड ओन्स टुमारो।
It is a privilege to be in this production, God Owns Your Tomorrow. I was 5 years old and our parents were idol worshippers. My mom had 11 children. At the age of 48, my father died, leaving my mom with 11 children, a 21-acre rice land to be cultivated, and also a house that was half built for us to live in. And in that my mom struggled without my dad being there, and all the children were small. My mom only depended on at that time was to depend on her God. And as the children were growing up, we were suffering at that time, and it came that we had to sell our land and come to the city. And this is where my elder brother, who had seen that how mom was suffering and there was no help for her. So my elder brother, who was about 18-19 years at that age, he started to look at a higher power which could help my mom, help our family. And so he somehow met a black magician who would then do some magic or whatever he did, and my brother felt that there was some changes in the house, that these changes he felt that was helping. And at that time he started to become a devotee of this black magic person. It's called a pujari in Hindi. So he started to take on the worship of the black magic. But in this time when we were doing this, there were deaths happening in our family at a young age. Then sometime later, my elder brother who got married, his wife at the age of 23 died. My mother at the age of 56 died. From then until 29, I came to Australia and I started to miss home. When I started to miss home, and my elder brother was also worshipping black magic and sending things over to me to be still part of that. And what happened that I met a group of people here in Australia and I started to become their friends. Now they introduced drugs to me at that time, and being alone from home, I tasted drugs at that time, and it helped me because I was very lonely at that time, missing home, homesick, and that slowly became part of my life. And a time came that I was very heavily drug addicted with marijuana, cocaine, and all these sort of drugs. And slowly a time came that I started to sell drugs also. and I became a drug dealer. I got in a lot of trouble with the law, and also was into a lot of fast cars and chase and all those sort of things. But inside me, there were no peace. It came to a place where I was no longer in control of myself anymore. I was dependent on drugs daily. I could not live without it. And in this time, I have really tried to stop this. So I went to a temple where I used to go to worship. I had a almost temple made in my home, that I wanted to find this help from my God, that I could be out of this situation, out of this misery that I was going through. I was trapped in this life and I could not come out of it. There was no help. No one was there to help me, though many people tried to comfort me in things, but it was not helping me at all, because I was like in a bondage. In this time, I met a Christian brother, and his wife used to come and sit at my home and talk to me about the Bible. And at that time, I could not understand what they were saying, and they used to pray for me and go. For 2 years, they've done that. Nearly every fortnight they were at my place. Even though I was so much high on drugs and all that, I respected them, and they came in my home and while they prayed for me. And in these 2 years, something was happening around my life. A day came that I thought to myself that why don't I go to church? And this is the word that this person left to me. He said, listen, you have lost everything in life. You are losing everything. Go to church, and over there you will not lose anything. And he said, I promise you that you will only gain something. So I went to church on one Sunday morning. When I went there, I did not understand much what was happening. So I came home. The next Sunday I went again, and on the third Sunday I went again. After the third Sunday, I thought, like, the people in the church are so happy, so joyful, and what do they have that they are so happy? So I thought that they use willpower to do things. So I started to say, okay, with willpower, I'm going to leave my drug addiction and alcohol and all that drug dealing and everything. So I have stopped that. For Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, I did not take drugs. On Tuesday, I started to, my hands started to shake, and my body started to need drugs. So, but I still was battling in that. Right at that time, the suicide thoughts were just coming in my mind so strongly. But then, while I was, then I went to bed early at 7:30, so I was struggling to sleep at that time, and I was so much into fear of I don't know what, but I was very discomfort. And about 2:30 in the morning, I had a thought that came in my mind. In the church, somebody said, if you ever are in trouble, pray to Jesus. So I just closed my hands while I was laying down, and I started to call Jesus, and I closed my eyes, and this is the way I did that, and I said, Jesus. The first time, the second time I said, Jesus, Jesus. And something started to change while I was calling out Jesus. I started to cry, very deep cry. I was crying, and every time I called the name of Jesus, it seemed like something was changing around me. By the time I was calling Jesus, my body started to relax, and I could feel the atmosphere has changed. And while that was happening, I felt like there was a knock on the door. And when the knock came, I thought to go to the door, and by then my body has relaxed so much, I started to see a vision. I've seen a vision that I went to my lounge to see, meet this person who was knocking on the door. When I went, the door opened, and I seen Jesus come to me, and he said to me to read Hebrews chapter 12. And after that he went, and I snapped out of my sleep, and I said, what was this? Because this felt so real. And I started to look at in the Bible. I had the Bible. I knew only the book of Matthew in it. So I thought the chapter is from the Bible. I started to flick in the Bible and seen that there was a book of Hebrew in there, and also there was chapter 12 in there. When I read it, said, you have come to a joyful gathering, your name is written in heaven, you have come to God. And this is something that was an experience I've never experienced. And when I read that, I actually got up off my bed, went on the floor, knelt down, lifted my hands up, and I said, Jesus, I do not know you, but if you are God, then you take all my addictions and my problems away, take all the suicidal away, and I will worship you and I'll save you for the rest of my life. While I was in the posture of looking to heaven and praying, there was an atmosphere change, and I felt a lift off, and I felt light, and also I felt a joy in my heart. And since that day, that moment, I never needed drugs. I never needed alcohol. I was fully healed and delivered at that time. And this is what I say, that God knows your tomorrow. God knew my tomorrow also. I want to share, I want to encourage you that today, if you are going through difficulties in life, if you're going through hardship, if you're going through pain, if you're going through sickness, anything that you are facing that is so difficult for you, I want to encourage you that God owns your tomorrow also, like He did own my tomorrow and helped me in my situation. He can do that to you also. This is the time that you can call to God, call to Jesus, and give Him your life, because He can only make it better for you. God owns your tomorrow.
अपनी आत्मा तू मुझ पर उंडेल मेरा खुदा, तेरे पीछे मैं चलूं सर्वदा। जीना मेरे लिए अब तू है खुदा, तेरे पीछे मैं चलूं सर्वदा। परम प्रधान है तू, तेरी छाँव में रहूं, तेरे पीछे मैं चलूं सर्वदा।